What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. Man, we are rocking and ready to go here this morning. Already 90 people waiting for us to come on. Must be Cinco de Mayo or something.
Welcome back to another live stream. Man, we are rocking.
We get a little reverb.
Yep, that's gone. That was mine.
Oh, no worries. What's happening, guys? We're joined by Ian and Scott from WAGMI. Big news. You see it on screen. We're going to break it down. So I'll let you guys take it away. Bitmart, here we go.
Yeah, so the big announcement today is listing on Bitmart. It's our second exchange. We're really excited about that. We had spoken a little bit about the amount of press that we're going to be getting for some of these exchanges. And DigiFinex did a pretty good job with their press. I don't know what kind of reach they have. I think that's going to be one of the slower plays. But I can tell you Bitmart is going to blow this up. And just the fact that we're going to have a CoinGecko banner here coming up. I don't know if it's today or if it's tomorrow or the next day. They're going to be featuring us on their homepage. The amount of press releases that are going out on their behalf is insane. Actually, I've seen the list of it, and I don't know what majority is because it's all in Chinese. And to me, that's really exciting because that, although we have a very vibrant Chinese Telegram group, we don't necessarily advertise too much to the Chinese community. And to us, it's how can we get as many eyeballs onto the project as we possibly can? It's the law of eights in marketing. It usually takes 8 times before somebody converts. So the first time, the whole goal is how quickly can you get to that 8 as possible? And I believe that some of these exchanges, especially like a Bitmart, who has, I believe they're based out of Hong Kong. They just have a huge user base that is on the other side of the world than we are. So we're excited to, start getting that word out. Obviously, Bitmart, I believe that they're legal. I think it's 7 or 8 states in the United States, which is really cool. And they're continuously trying to get more licensing. So therefore, we feel very bullish on the fact that this actually is a good match for us because we are, the game operators are US based. We have a huge US, UK follower base. So that being said, really excited about Bitmart. It's the next listing. It's certainly not the final listing. We're in continuous conversations with many of these exchanges, but we're going to go ahead and bask in this for a little bit. And I believe trading starts May 9th, which today is Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo, guys.
It's not coffee, it's a margarita.
Yeah, I've got my coffee margarita right here.
I got some Kahlua in this one this morning, so spice it up a little bit.
You need a little tequila.
That's it, man. So, congrats on the news. Big stuff, second exchange. So, Ian, I got to ask you, too, with exchanges, everybody kind of goes about it differently, right? So what is that process like in terms of kind of selecting which one's right for you? Because there are a lot of these exchanges in this kind of tier, as I kind of look at it, right? The L banks, the hot bits, the Bitmarts. But Bitmart might be kind of getting out of that, lower tier. It seems like everyone wants to be there before L bank and hot bit. At least that's my opinion outside looking in right now.
Yeah. So what we did is we tried to make sure that we got the best bang for the buck. It is not cheap to list on exchanges. Not only are there listing exchange fees, but the liquidity that you have to put up is expensive. So understanding that we're a real business and we actually watch our budget and we try to make sure that we do the best by the company, our investors, and try to get the, like I said, best bang for the buck. Bitmart seemed to be a really good fit. We feel that they're a top tier 2, kind of almost on the precipice of getting to a bottom tier 1, specifically because the fact that they have licensing in states in the United States, and they're actively going after that. So while, obviously, you got the big boys, which we are actively looking at some of those options currently. There are also steps that you have to take as a project in order to allow the proper conversations to happen with a lot of the tier 1s. They don't want to usually list a token or a project that doesn't already have the experience of being successfully listed onto an exchange. So therefore, we just really wanted to make sure that we didn't do a bottom tier 2 or a tier 3, because again, this is advertising money the way we look at it. And of course, allowing people to trade is important, but there's a lot that goes into it. And yeah, we're excited. We're excited about Bitmart. They actually, like I said, they gave us a lot of advertising in order to list us. And of course, that CoinGecko banner on homepage, how many times it gets clicked to us, it's a branding mechanism. We're doing a lot of branding on YouTube, on Google. And it's really just how many times can people see WAGMI games is the way we look at any of the advertisement that happens right now.
I love it, man. Scott, you already got a question coming in from Geo. I got it up on screen. Just crossed over 200 people. So if you haven't already, hit that like button for us. Definitely. Let's push this out in the old YouTube algorithm. Let's get some more people in here hanging out. But Geo's got one for you, Scott. I know you've got a number of these NFTs. So you see that question on screen?
Quite a bit. Yeah, so great question, Gio. We actually talked about this a bit in the Twitter Spaces last night. So the boutique collection is specifically for WAGMI Defense, because I know people were wondering, like, oh my gosh, when new games come out a year from now, 2 years from now, am I going to have to spend thousands of dollars on one of these NFTs to get a lot of these perks? Well, the answer is no. Like, if we do other games in the future and decide to do another boutique collection, it'll be probably for that specific game. This boutique collection has utilities for WAGMI Defense specifically. So you guys are great. If a new game comes out and we do another collection, it's for that game.
Yeah, but when a new game comes out, but I do want to emphasize that we are strategically keeping our eye on the ball.
Correct.
Okay, so we are in the midst of actually developing the MMORPG. In fact, all of our cinematic trailer stuff is done on Real Engine 5. And we're going to be having Real Engine 5 as the actual MMORPG engine. So all of the development is continuous, but we're not talking about that. We want to talk about WAGMI Defense. We want to talk about the adoption that we truly believe is going to be much different than 99% of every single crypto game that's out there. We're taking a much different approach. We're taking the mobile, the mobile gamer, the Twitch stream gamer. We're talking about the average person who will play a game for 5 or 10 minutes, have a little fun with it, and then sprinkle a couple of crypto elements into it, some Web3 stuff, right? So we're taking this at a much different approach than pretty much every single other crypto game is, and that's why we feel that we are going to position ourselves really well in this industry.
So, Ian, first off, this is your first time fully doxing on an AMA on YouTube, so that's cool.
Yep.
Since the docs, I got to ask you, man, just what was it like, kind of coming up with the vision of WAGMI way back when, and how long did it take to really get the ball rolling? What were those conversations like early? I'd love to, get some insight there. I think others would too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if anybody is unfamiliar with the story, the core 4 team members of this project, we were all we're investors into a different meme token called WAGMI. We all knew somebody, got into a stealth launch, and we were really excited about it because it was just a couple weeks after GM popped. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with GM. I mean, it just exploded for absolutely no reason. So you had this influx of all these acronym meme tokens that came in. So we got in really early on that. But what wound up happening was something was just not right. I was in the whale group, and I started reaching out to a couple of people in the whale group, particularly Chris, who's on this team. And what wound up happening was we found out that it was originally a group of 6 guys that started it. And there was really only one guy that was left because there was just a lot of drama that apparently was happening behind the scenes. And after about a week, this one guy did not realize just how much work goes into running one of these projects. Anybody who's looking to start one of these projects and wants to take it seriously, be sure to make sure that you clear your schedule for the next 2 to 3 years, because the amount of dedication and work that you have to put into these things is insane. But that being said, he didn't want to do it. We said, no problem. We have a huge investment into it. So why don't we go ahead and take over from the whales and make it a cool story that we'll take over the token, the original one, and we'll do the marketing because we have a lot of experience building companies, marketing, crypto marketing, all that good stuff. Well, couldn't get a hold of the developer that owned the contract. Nobody knew who he was, or nobody would tell us who he was. and he had control over the marketing wallet, and it was getting drained. So instead of us going out and telling the community, hey, listen, we're going to promote this meme token, knowing that the liquidity could be pulled as soon as the lock came out, we did the hard thing and said to the community, listen, this thing is not going to go well. So what we would like to do is we would like to offer a little bit of an ethical, kind of a, I don't know. We wanted to show that there's ethics in crypto and that there can be a ethical team that runs an actual token. So what we told the community is we said, we want to relaunch the WAGMI token, a different contract, and we're going to put utility towards it because Lewis at the time was actually advising on a different token having to do with a game. So what we did is we told the community, you guys liquidate. We're not going to sell a token. And in return, what we ask of you guys is hopefully you guys can get some money out of it. We're going to open up a new community. Come with us, listen to us talk, listen to our VCs, our AMAs, and we'll tell you what our strategy is, what our vision is. So what wound up happening, I remember I was in Disney World with my kids and just all day long in Disney World. And then at nighttime, literally was up all night with the team. And Lewis and I really just kind of came together and he explained his vision as far as the tower defense game. He explained his vision as far as going after the mobile market. And what we did is I just happened to be spending the entire day in Star Wars land over in Hollywood Studios. And I'm like, we have to do a sci-fi deal. I mean, just seeing the faces of every single person, including myself, that was just amazed walking through Tatooine and seeing the Millennium Falcon and actually riding through this. And I'm like, the lore of Star Wars, there's nothing quite like it. So we decided to put the story of WAGMI, which is the year 3022, humans versus aliens. Aliens come down. They try to attack Earth. They're trying to get the core element Nephi, which is the actual core element of the Earth. And the humans kind of come together and they create what's called We're All Going to Make It Defense, WAGMI Defense. And so we're incorporated a little bit of the acronym from the what's happening on Twitter in crypto, but actually making it so that it actually intertwines into the story of the game. And that pretty much was the beginning of it. And once we decided on the utility of the game, it has been nothing but focusing on the game. The game is the most important. The crypto part of it's not important. It is, but if you don't have a playable, fun game that people want to play, it doesn't matter how great the crypto part of it is. You're not going to be successful. So that's what we've been focused on. We focused on trying to create a game. We own all of the IP. We've created all the characters from scratch, all the stories that you can see on wagmigame.io as far as the characters are concerned. They are 100% owned by us. So, and that's another thing. If anybody's out here, I could probably name 4 or 5 tokens. I'm probably not going to name them here, but if you see disclaimers at the top of a token saying we are not affiliated with X, Y, and Z, that's the first thing you see on a website. Run like hell, because guess what's going to happen? So owning the IP, owning your characters, coming up with things that are original, we feel has put us in a position to actually be fairly successful so far in a very, very, very young token and bootstrapped. We didn't have any kind of IDO. We didn't have any VC funding or anything like that. This has all been pretty much fair launch on our dime.
Yeah, and we were talking before we jumped on air that you guys kind of launched right when the bear market hit, so it made it even more difficult. I want to talk about that, but I also want to unpack something that you alluded to there in respect to how you guys kind of went about this, and I'm sure a lot of it was based on your marketing experience and your experience in the real world before. But you see so many play to earn games, Ian. You know exactly what I'm going to say, right? They come out with these crazy cinematic trailers, yet they're 10 to 12 months out. And it's so hard, at least in my opinion, for these type of games, good or bad. They might end up being great, right? Great games. But it's so hard for them to stay relevant. So I'm guessing like that was kind of top of mind and how you guys went about it, focusing on the game first and then really ramping up marketing as the beta got closer and closer to launching, right?
Yeah, 100%. So one of the things that we really wanted to do is get to market as quickly as possible. So there's a few mistakes that we believe a lot of the crypto games are doing right now. The first one is trying to make the shock and awe 3D MMORPG, all this amazing graphics and taking, basically what seems to be absolutely amazing. And by the way, they are. The trailers are gorgeous. The gameplay on a few of them look like they're going to be really spectacular. But we wanted to go to market as quickly as possible. And knowing that it's a mobile game, we really, really figured that we could focus on the actual the game, but not have to do that immense, crazy Real Engine 5 mechanism for the first game. So what we did is we signed a deal with Cubics, who's our game dev. The game dev company Cubics, they basically are they have over 200 people that work for them. We have 30 people that work specifically on this project right now, and just going through the motions of trying to find a game developer. Once we landed on them, they had experience in marketing, they had experience in game development, and they had experience in blockchain. So they actually checked all of what we were looking for as far as a game development company. But yeah, it was all about, let's get to market as quickly as we can, and let's build this thing. And then once we finally have the cinematic teaser, the trailer that we did, as soon as we actually are close to beta, that's when we'll start really getting into some advertising, marketing, influencers. And that was when we reached out to Scott. And you were one of the very first ambassadors as well on this project, and you've only been on for about a month, right? And that we wanted to make sure that we had product first and then go into marketing and advertising rather than the reverse of what you just discussed.
Yeah, 100%. I think that was a good move too. I mean, there are a lot of, I won't, name them, but there are a lot of them that come to mind, and it's like, man, it's like, this might be really good, but we got to wait a long time, and it's hard to stay relevant in crypto. So many new things coming.
One of the things that we talked about quite a bit in the space yesterday that actually a lot of the holders were bringing up was that they were so happy that WAGMI is just focusing on WAGMI defense, right? Like, we're not making all these other promises. Like, we're letting you know that there's an MMORPG that's going to be worked on, but it's going to take a few years. But all of the focus is still on WAGMI defense. Everything we're doing is WAGMI defense. And that's what it takes. And that's what's so great about Ian and the rest of the team is that these guys know what it takes to build the foundation of a successful business. You have to stay laser focused, but you also have to have a plan. Like, you can't just wake up in the morning every day and be like, okay, what am I going to do today? Who am I going to reach out to? Like, no, you got to have that planned out at least weeks, months in advance, and have a clear path towards success, or you won't get there. And Zach, I mean, you've been in the game longer than me. You've seen so many tokens build up so much excitement, so much community support.
Yeah.
And they're in the Telegram like, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Right. And then they reach out to you and they're like, Zach, what should I do? Like, how do I keep the momentum going? Like, what should my game plan be? And and as an influencer, you're like, that's not my job. I'm not a dev. I'm an influencer.
Right. And Scott, to your point, I mean, thank you for bringing me in this project. And I've said this publicly a few times, but with Ian here too, and everybody tuning in, I mean, the way you guys have went about it, just in terms of, getting all the influencers together, having things to talk about, because, in our world, Scott, I mean, if we don't have something to talk about, if we don't have a catalyst coming or some kind of news, it's hard for us to go on and give, good information, right? Or else we're kind of rehashing things that we already talked about weeks ago or months ago.
Or you're just reading like updated tweets from devs,
exactly.
Like, there's really nothing else to talk about. You're right.
100%.
And that's what's so great, that now the beta is out. I know you couldn't make it to the first tournament we had, or battle royale, influencer battle royale, but that, like, we played for an hour and a half and it felt like 30 minutes. Yeah. And it was fun to watch,
Hey, we have a question up on screen, and guys, if you do have questions, keep them rolling in. I'll try to get to as many as we can here too. So we'll open it up to everybody. So Pratam says, which liquidity will be there on Bitmart, BNB or ETH?
Yeah, we're starting with BNB, the BSC chain for Bitmart first. We're going to see how it flows, and then maybe in the next week or two, we'll add the liquidity for the Ethereum side.
Okay, right on. Cool. So let's see here. Let's see if we have any other ones. Ryan Patrick, what's happening, brother? He says, yes, the beta is all that matters. Hopefully the feedback loop has been strong with Genesis NFT holders so far, guys. Thoughts on that?
I would say that it's the only negative feedback that we've gotten so far is people who don't understand what we're trying to do, or people who expect a beta to look like a final release. Like, just so we're clear on it, so we're doing something that nobody's done. And the reason why we're doing it is twofold. So what we're doing is we're allowing our community to get in as part of the utility of our Genesis NFT collection to actually be a part of helping us form the game and getting it right. Having all of the people that are in there, I don't care if you're a person who doesn't game or somebody who is a very experienced gamer. All the opinions are very important because I'm not a huge gamer. I'm a little bit older. I was 20 years ago, but now I've got a couple other things going on. But that being said, there are certain things that are important to me from a non-gamer standpoint, as opposed to somebody that has been playing Clash Royale for 6 years, who truly understands the inner workings of the mechanisms of, characters and how they're put on the map and strategies. So getting that feedback loop from everybody is so important. Like I said, the only people to me that have basically done any kind of negativity are people that either A, expected the game to be done and don't understand that it's a beta, or somebody who's expecting it to be a 3D MMORPG and all the hype that they're used to in the other crypto games. But anybody who has played it so far has enjoyed it. We've already found bugs, which that's the idea. That's why we're here. We want to find the bugs. We want to find that you can drop a human behind a tower and all of a sudden you can destroy a tower. Like, we need to know those things before we go to general public release, so that when actually the general public starts playing it, that's when it starts to be like, okay, there are no more bugs, or the bugs are far and few in between, as opposed to coming out with something that's, pretty much half-ass. And we didn't want to do that. So to me, all of the feedback has been incredibly positive. And the playability, it seems like everybody's having a really fun time playing it, which is the most important thing, right? It's all about the game.
And as a gamer, like, I don't mind seeing bugs as long as they get worked out the following week, because that shows me as someone playing the game that the game actually cares. Like, for example, I talk about this all the time. I've been playing Call of Duty for years, and they still can't fix the same glitches they've had for years. Even with everyone complaining about it, making TikTok videos about it, YouTube videos about it, millions upon millions upon millions of views, get rid of the hackers. The ground doesn't render correctly, and they do nothing. They don't care. Like, they don't care at all. By the way, Zach, I just sent you a tweet on Telegram. This is when like, things are moving in the right direction, when you see these kinds of tweets. Yep. just pull it up.
Let me see.
Wait till you see this. This is ridiculous.
Okay.
Pulling it over.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
Pulling it over.
Ridiculous.
What in the world?
Pull it over.
I haven't had a chance to listen to the audio yet, but that's funny as hell.
I'll move that over.
I love
it. Wow. All right. There we go. I love it.
Oh, here we go.
Didn't you forget something?
What?
Your secret stuff.
The WAGMI post. That's good.
There we go. We'll go ahead and have to retweet that one.
I love it.
Nice, Belt. Didn't you forget something?
That's good stuff.
That's awesome.
I was gonna say, guys, I'm loving the conversation, but I have to say this. Today's Cinco de Mayo, and it's someone special's birthday, my wife. So I'm gonna give her a shout out. She's hitting that big 31. So just
Feliz cumpleaños.
Yes. So we're gonna celebrate today, and it's I told her I'm gonna give you a shout out. She's like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "No, I'm doing it."
now I'm definitely doing it.
Yes. So
awesome. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. That's what's up.
Thanks, guys. She just heard y'all. There you go.
Awesome.
Work
today,
coffee, baby. Tequila and the coffee.
That's it, man. A couple margaritas later. There you go.
Oh yeah, she can do it. I can't.
I'll have some margaritas for your wife's birthday too. I want to be part of the celebration.
There you go.
So Sasan's got one. He says, do we get an extra wallet options like Trust Wallet during beta?
So that's a great question. We just literally, I think we launched beta, last week? Maybe it was Thursday.
Yep.
So we're going to continuously roll out every single aspect that will be in the live game. So I believe that it's going to be Trust, it's going to be Meta. There's going to be a few other wallets that are going to be integrated. When they roll that out, not sure, but the answer is 100%. It will be done. I just don't know when.
Okay, good deal. Cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying happy birthday too, so that's good, man. That's cool stuff. That's awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
That's awesome. Muzz, what's happening, man? So, Ian, I got to tell you too, I got a bunch of hardcore gamers. I was telling Scott this the other day, yesterday or the day before. I got some hardcore gamers in my Discord who are ready to play the beta whenever we get the green light, man. And I think what I'm going to do, because in my past life, I was a broadcaster, sports broadcaster. So I'm going to like maybe do the broadcasting and let them play live on a stream or something. And so it could be fun, man. They're pumped up about it too. So
I
How
love
about the commentary?
You were a sports broadcaster, you said?
yeah, man, for about 7-8 years. Yep, like radio TV.
Dude, go watch one of those Clash tournaments. I want to see you do it like, Clash style. That would be cool.
Yeah, man. I gotta get like hip to it because like Ian, I'm not a huge gamer anymore. I used to play Uncharted like way back in the day. That was like the only game I got super addicted to. But I was thinking about like honestly like putting in a resume or something for those like Madden tournaments. I was like, that would be cool as hell, right?
What sports did you cover?
We did. I did baseball, basketball, football, just a little bit of everything. At a college here in Ohio, so travel with the football team, basketball team. Did a bunch of high school stuff too, and worked in Chicago for a little bit too at NBC Sports over there, and it was fun, man. But too much traveling around, and now it's nice, got a home base, and
awesome.
So
Yeah,
cool.
one of my buddies that I went to college with is the voice of at the stadium at Petco Park in San Diego.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. My favorite line, I think it's from Airplane when he goes back in time and he's like, now batting in the bottom of the ninth, Manny Mota.
Yeah. Dude, I love that movie, bro. Like the slapstick comedy. Oh my gosh.
You can't make them like that anymore. You're not allowed.
No, bro. Yeah, that movie would never be made today.
There's so many movies that are so great that would never be allowed to be made now.
No.
We can have a whole nother stream on some of those movies.
100%. Yeah. So guys, if you're just tuning in, the big news, Bitmart, WAGMI getting listed on Bitmart, trading on May 9th. So that's the big news. But let's talk a little bit more about kind of what are you guys working on now, Ian? Like where's the focus now that beta's out? Is it just kind of perfecting that? What's on the horizon?
Well, so we've got multiple streams of things that we're working on. Obviously, we've got the team that's working on beta. We're taking all the feedback from everybody. We're seeing the bugs as well. We're getting them to cubics and making sure that every single release that comes out addresses those issues so that we can find more of them. The other thing that's going on is there's a consistent flow of design as far as the next round of what's going to be in the game. Like, for example, right now, you can only play 5 characters on each side. We're going to be adding the 6th character, and then what's going to make it even more exciting as we continue to roll this out are the power cards, right? So being able to shoot, I think Lewis was talking about like some sort of like fire attack that comes from the air that you're able to launch from a power card from one tower onto the other. So if anybody's played Clash Royale, they have something similar in the beginning, kind of like the arrows, right? So those are the types of things that are continuously moving forward as far as the actual game itself. On a business level, we are actually currently testing our funnels. We have a Google account that's approved for crypto, which if anybody is in traditional advertising, that's actually a big deal. And what we're doing is we're working with our funnel designers to get the right kind of flow and testing that out so that we can get the proper opt-ins for the VIP launch, which essentially is going to be in July. So we're trying to get that squared away, get all the verbiage where it needs to be, understand the audience. I think we've already gotten off of our test over 1,000 opt-ins into that. So we're seeing the KPIs are pretty good for that. In addition to that, we have our novelist, which already wrote the first chapter of WAGMI Defense. We can talk about the lore a little bit too, but he's actually chopping up the first chapter into what's going to be a digestible comic script. And then once we have that, we're giving it to the comic designer to go ahead and create the very first comic. And we're going to probably release that right around the time we launch the game itself to create that buzz and that hype so that people can understand the relationships between the characters. And I don't know if anybody's watching like a Halo, the new series that Halo has. Like, it's a video game, but now you're watching it and you're seeing the backstory and you're seeing what's happening with, I think something Sergeant. And the fact that he's more human than you thought he was, and understanding all of those backstories to the characters, we feel are very important because it creates a psychological attachment while you're playing the game, knowing that, okay, I'm going to drop, Kimosh, which is one of the female characters, and let her battle Melkros. And that they've battled it out in a different, battle in real life. But, it just kind of helps with the lore and things like that. So we've got that working. And then we have multiple conversations. In fact, I think that has there been like 3 already this week that are just, between, huge influencers, between the gaming community, as well as, talks with some of the bigger VC firms as far as being able to kind of have that relationship and take the project to the next level. So it's constant as far as getting out there and spreading the word with people that might not know about the project. For example, we had a great conversation yesterday. I won't name his name, but trying to get his attention for quite some time. Finally got his attention, had a 30-minute conversation with him. And then he's like, okay, let me get all my analysis on and let's have a real conversation. We had that conversation yesterday, and that went incredibly well. There hasn't been one conversation that we've had with anybody in the industry. Once we start explaining what our strategy is and how we're looking for mass adoption in the world of gaming, that has not been bullish on the conversations we're having. So it's actually nonstop.
It's been
happening.
What I'm noticing, Ian, is a pattern, right? Where because we're actually a legit project and we have a clear path and, we're doing everything right, it's almost like an upward battle where we have to break through all these barricades of all the Fiverr games that have come out that promised everything. So like, even the person we talked to yesterday, he's like, oh, I just thought you guys were another like Fiverr game or something, and we get that a lot, and that's fine, right? Because persistency is key. I mean, even Zach, I pursued Zach for a few weeks about WAGMI, Austin for a few weeks about WAGMI, and the guy we talked to yesterday, I've been pursuing him for 6 weeks about WAGMI because I reached out around the same time I reached out to you in Austin. Some people, it's just going to take a little longer to bring to the table and show them what we've got, but that's fine. I don't mind doing that because I know that when we finally do get them there and these people get to meet the team and hear about the project, they're going to be convinced. And just like yesterday, we spoke for like 30 minutes. We were showing the website and talking about the project itself. He was really interested in the backgrounds of all of the devs. Once he heard like Ian's background, he was very impressed. The things that Ian's done in his life with his businesses. And then just the game itself. Like, even if you don't know much about gaming, we can still offer an explanation that if you just understand business, you can see why the game will be successful. So I'll bust through as many barriers as it takes. That's why I'm here. Let's go.
For sure. Daniel's got one. Does WAGMI have a bug bounty for reporting exploits if we find one?
Not right now. We do have a page where we can send reports to, but that could be something that we offer maybe once like the public version is out. Maybe we do something fun like that. Like right now, the goal is to find bugs, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why you have the NFT. You're part of the community. This is crypto. Everything's community based. Like, we're telling you right now, find the bugs. So maybe when the bugs are supposed to be done and you find one, we'll be like, oh, damn. Okay, well, just be quiet and here's your prize. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, so that's a good idea. I believe that we will do something like that once the game comes out, because the last thing that we want is, because here's the thing, right? You're going to have the ability to use the WAGMI token and have those as entry fees for the contest, those skill wagering contests, the player versus player. I'm trying to watch my verbiage properly based off of the lawyers terminology. But that being said, you will be able to, knowing that people are going to be having entry fees and it's going to be winner take all as far as the skill based, but we are going to make sure that we're going to minimize any of the bugs as quickly as possible. So I love the idea of making sure that once we get to that point, that we're going to make it really beneficial for somebody to tell us that there's a bug, because we want it to be as fair as possible.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, nothing brings a gamer more to a game or wants to get them more involved if they feel like they have a say in it.
Yeah.
Like, period. Think of any game you've ever played and you found a bug and you're like, oh, I don't know who to tell. You know,
Right.
and you kind of like, it takes the wind right out of your sails.
Right. Now, are we still looking at a mid-July target date?
Yeah, I don't know if it's mid-July, beginning of July, end of July, but July is our target date. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And in fact, what our strategy is obviously we're in beta. We just announced another exchange. We're in talks with other exchanges as we move forward. There are going to be strategic announcements as far as more ambassadors and more influencers, more people coming on board on the project as we move forward. Our goal is we have a 3.5 minute full-blown cinematic trailer. The teaser that we have is really cool. The one that's created for this next version, it's like Star Wars. That's the quality of it. It's really neat. In fact, it's so good that nobody will confuse it with the game because we'll integrate gameplay into it so that there's no confusion that that's what the game will look like. But we plan on releasing that most likely about 30 days before the general public release so that we have a proper liftoff to get into the launch. So everything that we're doing is kind of strategically planned as far as releases are concerned. And the hardest thing about crypto is that if you don't release something after like a day or two, people get bored and
100%.
think that nothing's happening. And that's, to me, is the biggest challenge of this project as a businessman who is used to saying it takes 3 to 6 months to get something done, right? And most people who you have conversations with in business, if it's B2B, understand that. And most likely, if you say 6 months, it's a year. Where in crypto, it's like, okay, on Friday, we released this amazing beta, and by Sunday, it hasn't mooned, so you see sells on the chart, which blows my mind that everybody has such a small attention span. But the way we look at this project for anybody who wants to come on board is look at this as an investment as opposed to a pump and dump, right? And there's so many of those projects out there that you can, have let's call it a gambling budget, right? So let's say you have a full investment and you say, okay, 50% are going to be blue chips, 25% are going to be the ones that I'm going to invest in that are the long shots, but let's just kind of keep our money there. Then you have your 10% of, hey, let me go ahead and get some sort of a, when's it going to moon in you? And if I win it, great. And if I lose it, then, they're going to stick it back in you as far as the rug is concerned. Yep. So, it's trying to, hopefully we're getting the investors that come on board that are like, okay, I'm cool with just understanding that you guys are building something and that we're not worried too much about the chart. Obviously, it feels better when the chart goes up. It feels better. We're in a bull market. But the way we look at it is all of the Axies and the Sands and the Galas and the Engines of the world, they built something in the last bear. Mm-hmm. And they actually started really blowing up. What was it, last July or August? When everything started popping. And now they went from their, $50 million market caps to $1 billion market cap. And now they're just hovering in that 500 million to billion. Some of them are above that. And the way we look at this project is if we keep on doing what we're doing, we keep on looking at the adoption from the real gaming world into crypto by not shoving NFTs down their throat. And I can talk about that strategy in a second. But we feel that we're going to position ourselves for that next bull run where we're going to have an active game that's out there. People are going to be streaming it on Twitch. We're going to be having the tournaments. We're focusing on esports, right? Esports is a big play that we don't talk enough about, that there's more money in esports than there is in regular sporting. events. It's insane. NFL maybe, you know, that'll be bigger, but I mean, it's insane. How much
Esports
money
pulls in way more money than the NFL does.
does it? Well, there you
Oh
have
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dude, like when people start to realize how much money there is in esports compared to all other sports combined, like it's insane. Because anybody can play games. You have to be a top tier athlete to play sports.
Good point. Yeah.
You know, and actually, kind of jumping off what you were saying earlier, Ian, about not being a pump and dump. The problem with crypto is most people don't have that mental endurance to be able to hold on long enough to reap the rewards, right? So I talked about this a few times in a couple other videos in the past. You know, a lot of people will say things like, "Oh, if I only just invested $1,000 in Bitcoin 10 years ago," and I'm like, bro, as soon as that $1,000 hit 100 grand, you would have pulled out. You wouldn't have had the mental endurance to hold it for the last 4, 5, 6 years to let it hit the millions. And that's fine, right? Like you should be taking profits, but you know, most people just they don't have that mental endurance because it's a lot of money. It's life-changing money. You know, why wouldn't you pull it out? It could be gone tomorrow. So that's not a fault on, you know, anybody listening. I'm just saying like when you do your investing, you got to have your bags that you play with and you got to have your bags that you hold. And those bags that you hold have to be in projects that you know have a future. And the only way you can know if a project has a future is to join AMAs, go to Twitter Spaces, do your own research, right? And then you just got to stick to those convictions. Lewis says he keeps getting kicked, but he wanted me to say that one of the questions was, will there be a player versus enemy mode or PvE? And the answer to that question is yes. So there will be a single player mode in the game.
Yeah, but not in beta yet. Obviously, we need
not in beta.
Yeah, we need to fine tune both sides. But yes, there will be the ability, and we're actually having multiple a multiple approach to not only being in crypto. Now, granted, the very first launch that we're going to be doing is crypto based, but we're going to have a free to play that has nothing to do with crypto. We're actually going to have a game that most likely we're going to strip it down. It's going to be mobile responsive. Anybody that understands development, once you already have something that's mobile responsive, to put the APKs or the SDKs into an actual app is not that difficult. It just takes a little bit of time. And we have no problem actually putting this thing on the App Store that is a stripped down version of it, because we're so confident that it's going to be a fun game to play. And then we can leverage the messaging within the app to say, and by the way, there's also another game that you could potentially play in case you wanted to have some sort of the skill-based contests and things like that. So those are the things that we are looking to do by the end of the year. And those will be some of those really cool announcements as we get to those that are really going to enhance, you know, the investors, you know, security in their investment, and understand that we're looking at this not just as a crypto game, but a gaming franchise that happens to have some crypto in it. And I think that's such an important thing for anybody who's listening to understand, that is our philosophy and our approach. And we're looking at this as a company, as a corporation, not as a token or a project.
Love that. And everybody out there, love that you're hanging out with us here this morning. Make sure you hit that like button. Almost 220 people hanging out. And hopefully you're taking notes and learning about what WAGMI's building here. So I think this question is related to the Bitmart listing, which was the big news if you're just popping in. When will the arbitrage bot be ready? Thanks, Zach. Keep up the good work. Love you, Scott. There you go.
Yeah. So the arbitrage bot actually has to do with balancing of the ETH and the BNB chains. So we got our first version of it. We found bugs and they're still working on it. We're not going to release it until it's ironclad. Like, we have to make sure. I mean, this is your guys' money as well as ours. I mean, I'm a huge investor in this project for my own money. And the last thing that we want to do is put anything on the market that's going to jeopardize it. So that being said, we've already gotten a couple versions back and we keep on working on it. So it's in the works. The good news is natural arbitrage has kind of taken its place, and you know, both chains are not too far off from each other. And even if one of them goes 4 or 5x above the other at the market caps we're at on our $100 million market cap, it doesn't matter. We'll even them out.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Hitoshi's got one. Can you ask about OpenSea verification and where you guys are?
We've submitted it, and if I don't hear anything back here in the next week or two, then I'll buck up and pay the 10 Gs to get it verified. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It's just another thing you got to pay for with these exchange
ridiculous.
things, coin market cap, everything, right?
I mean, this industry's a rug. It just really is. But we have submitted it. I mean, we put together all of the videos showing that we've owned the layers and the files and Photoshop and submitted it. But
wasn't one of the requirements hitting 100 ETH in trading volume?
We've already done all that. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm saying, wasn't that one of the requirements?
Yeah. It said 5 days, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So, as soon, like I said, if I don't hear back from them soon, actually, what I'll do is I'll reach out to one of my buddies who does a verification to see if he can at least get a status to know if we need to buck up. So I'll find out.
Muzz wants you to play us a song on the keys there right next to you.
It's not plugged in right now. The guitar is easier to play. So
nice.
Yeah.
So Daniel's got one too. Ian, are there bug bounties of any kind? Where, if any, we might have answered this one earlier. I might be a little bit behind in chat, Daniel. Sorry about that.
No problem. So the answer will be yes, there will be, but in beta, nah, because I mean the community is here for a reason. Everybody who is in beta right now is invested into the project to make sure that this project has a great ability for success in the long term. But once we do go to general public release, we will have those. Yes.
Awesome. So that was one of the questions we answered earlier with PvE mode. Possible adding more utility for the token. WAGMI token for wagering is cool, but any new stuff like staking from RZ?
Why?
I think people say staking just because it's so common, like staking. Guys, remember, using WAGMI token for wagering. Think about this right now, Zach. Pull up the chat if you can. We talked about this actually last night too in the AMA, right?
Wait, right here.
Yeah, pull up the chat for WAGMI, the Dex tools. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha.
Here's the thing, RZ. I think that everybody feels like they need to do 25 things at one time.
Yeah, I feel like that too.
This industry is skewed as far as thinking that we need to have. I mean, Nexus, do we need some sort of a DApp as well and swapping function? And do we have a game? How about we do 5 or 6 different games, or when we do some staking? And we're focused on the game.
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
The game itself is what we're focused on. If there is oh my gosh, we have to do staking that actually makes the game that much better, or the token that much better, we'll definitely table it. We're not closed-minded to anything, but I feel like that everybody feels like you have to have so many different things moving at the same time in order for a project to be successful.
Well, that's the hype train, right? Like, oh, now they're staking, and now there's this, and now there's the reflections, and now and it just, it's like, it just keeps the hype up while they figure out what they want to do in the back end. We don't have that problem. We already know what we're doing on the back end.
Yeah. And all the holders get reflections.
Yep.
So you're essentially, by holding it, you're getting your reflections. So
and so, this is what I wanted to talk about the chat right here, right? So like we're at $11.7 million market cap. Okay. And we're currently in beta. We have 60 to 90 days until the game comes out. Think about this, right? If in-game wagering is using the WAGMI token, and we continue down this path or this trajectory where we're getting on exchanges, we're bringing in big investors, we're talking to big names at Twitch, we're talking to big names at GameStop, we're bringing all this attention in. All these people are buying tokens, because why wouldn't you buy tokens if you want to invest in the project? Now, let's say by the time the game launches, maybe we have a solid floor. Let's say like maybe $30 million to $40 million market cap, right? When the wagering starts and more people start playing the game, now these are people who didn't know about WAGMI maybe until the game is launched to public. Those people want to do the wagering. They have to go to the chat and they have to buy tokens. So even if they're spending 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a week for the wagering, because you're not going to win every time, and let's say we have like 100,000 downloads. I won't even say a million, 100,000 downloads. If all those 100,000 people buying $20 to $30 of WAGMI tokens a week, what do you think that's going to do to the chat and the market cap? That's huge. And that's why you really have to understand what's coming with the game and why the wagering is so cool and how that's really going to make a difference in the crypto world, in the gaming world, right? So now you don't have to have people coming in and buying like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ETH on the chat in order to see a lot of movement. Because if you have a couple 100,000 people spending $20 to $50 a week so they can do in-game wagering, then you're going to see that massive climb. At least that's how I look at it. How do you see it, Ian?
I believe we're sticking to our guns.
Yeah.
Right. And unless there's a use case that makes it incredibly like a no-brainer for us to implement something like that, the question always is why. And I don't mean to be condescending when I ask that question. There needs to be a why in everything that you do in business. Right now, I understand that there's a lot of projects that need the stoking or the staking, but what they probably will do is they will have it where there's such a unsustainable and unrealistic APY that what winds up happening is when that does not become sustainable, people pull out and it affects the chart negatively.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Last thing that we want to do is have anything that we implement for a short-term pump that affects the project negatively. Because again, this is a long-term project. Looking at that chart, great. It was a lot of fun when we got up to there. But guess what happened right when at that the ETH chart? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right when we got up to that 25, 26 million. That was also when ETH pumped to 35 or 3,600. Right. So we have to understand that we are not completely autonomous from the market. When people feel good about themselves, they're going to be investing in a lot. When people feel bad about themselves, they're going to get scared and they're going to start pulling out of projects. And the reason why we're seeing a floor that is rising is because more people are listening to these conversations to know that we're not concerned about the short-term charts. We're not concerned about the short-term, let's see if we can do this to get a quick pump and get a few investors on board to throw a few ETH. Like, that doesn't matter to us. We're focused on the game, and our focus is on the long-term adoption of trying to hold people's hands that are against crypto, which, by the way, the majority of gamers are against crypto. They hate NFTs. Listen, we did some campaigns with the NFTs on Facebook, and we focused on the gaming avatar. So here, guys, this is a little bit of advertising and focusing on understanding what the objections are. So when we did that and we focused on gamers, we focused on the Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, that type of thing. We're like, oh man, this is going to be great. We're going to go after those specific people on Facebook, and we're going to get them into this amazing NFT Genesis collection. The feedback we got was brutal on the comments. Brutal. Because every single one of those gamers are like, crypto sucks. It's another scam. It's a money grab. It is NFTs, screenshots. I'll take the JPEG. I got it right now. That was the feedback that we got on all the comments. So being that I've been in business for so long, I take that as understanding what the actual market is and who the people that we are going to approach, how we need to approach them. So that being said, took all of those negative comments. The first night I was like, all right, I'm kind of pissed off. But after that, it's like, okay, let's kind of compartmentalize this and figure out why they're saying this. They're saying this because over the last 6 to 9 months in NFTs, the majority of people who have bought an NFT have lost money. Let's face it.
Right.
Everybody is promised complete bullshit. Everyone's like, hey, here's our roadmap, and this is going to be amazing, and this is going to be amazing, and it's going to be a $5 million raise, and then you don't hear from them again. Because none of them are doxxed. You don't know who any of these people are. And all the people that got into it were like, oh my God, there's all this hype and all this craze behind NFTs. And man, if I can get the next Cyberpunk, so the next Bored Ape Yacht Club, man, I'm going to be a millionaire. Right? It's the same as winning the lottery.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that being said, you have all of these people that have this negative connotation having to do with this industry, especially NFTs. And that's why we are not leading with NFTs with this game. It is not an NFT game. Okay. Most of the games that are out there with the land sales that are happening, with the NFT games, all of that stuff, their chances of getting adoption from the real world gamers are slim to none. Maybe in 4 or 5 years from now, when it is everybody is doing it and it's standardized, But if you want adoption right now, while the industry it's such an early industry as far as GameFi is concerned, it's only been around for a year and a half. If you want to have any chance whatsoever in any of that, you have to be able to understand how to have the conversation with the people that you're trying to get on board. And I can tell you that the majority of the tokens that are out there, even the ones that are the $1 billion market caps, they are not going to get the adoption from the real world people. They're leading with the wrong conversations. And that's why we're not an NFT game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're not doing the land sales. We're not doing the things that we feel are I'm not going to say money grabs. Hopefully they work out for those tokens, but real gamers are not going to be interested in it. They want to play a game and they want to have fun. So we're positioning it as, hey, listen, the only difference between our game and another game that you play on an app store are two things. Number one, instead of you throwing money away at an app store, you actually own your digital asset. Shh, it's called an NFT, but that's not important right now. Right. And secondly, hey, listen, if you have fun with it, instead of you sitting there and you want to make it interesting, put $5, $10 on the line.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Right.
And you know, what's so important about everything you just said, Ian, is obviously over the course of the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, like there will be games that come out in crypto that do very well.
Yep.
Right now, it's a race to be the first to do it right. And you will be the OG in the game. Everyone will know you. And there's a lot of clout and success that comes with that. And that's what I see here. I see this as the first game that has everything you need to bridge that gap between traditional gaming and crypto gaming, and to do it in the easiest way possible, the less stressful way possible. And that's going to be extremely important moving forward, especially when we're having conversations with people in the gaming space that maybe, like you said, don't know much about crypto, got burned, maybe buying an NFT, or just haven't had that education yet. Everything about WAGMI Defense can be explained to whether you're into crypto or not, and you can understand it, and it makes sense. Period.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, little things like making sure that people can purchase their in-game assets with a credit card. Like those are the integrations that we're working through during beta. Mm-hmm. Having it so that somebody doesn't need to even have a wallet to have their digital assets stored. We'll have a custodial wallet in the background that in the case that they do want to claim all the stuff that they've paid for, no problem. Here's your 5-minute step-by-step on creating a wallet and then claiming it. So we're not forcing the fact that somebody has to be in crypto in order to play our game. But yes, if you do want to wager anything, if you want to have that skill-based contests, this is the steps that you will need to take. And we'll explain it to you within 5-10 minutes, you're up and running. But we're not going to force it down their throat. You don't have to have the skill-based contests in order to play the game. You can just have fun.
Yep.
Right?
Dude, pull up that comment. Pull up that comment from Gold Magikarp. It says most gamers are so anti-NFT, but then they're like, let's buy skins we don't own that we could, but NA that's changed. That's a good point. Like gamers, you're already buying NFTs. You just can't do anything with them after you buy them, right? You have all these skins, you have all these weapons, all these in-game purchases that you own forever, and you can never sell unless you sell the entire game. If those were NFTs, you could resell those on the market or give them away to your subscribers. And now it's another form of income, or it's another giveaway.
Yep.
And then they go, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's educational funnels that we are currently actively building out. We're not going to launch the educational funnels until we come out with general public. But it's understanding that we have a barrier of entry for the gamers that we need to overcome. But by leading with the game and making it so that they don't have to have a wallet, they don't have to have crypto. They can literally just play the game, and when they're ready to claim their NFTs, or let's say they've grinded and they've got some of those rare, armors or some of the rare power-ups, and then they finally realize, wow, I've got 5 of those and I can sell a couple of those, or I can rent them. I don't even have to sell them. I can rent those out to people that don't have them, because there's this tournament that WAGMI Defense is doing that's $1 million tournament. And again, let's get into the esports thing. We don't talk enough about that because it's all about the beta of the game. but these are our grand schemes, right? This is what we're aiming towards. We're aiming towards the esports, the Clash or the Twitch streaming, to actually have the competition take it to a next level. In fact, that's our conversation that we had. The very first conversation we had with one of the co-founders of Twitch was like, yeah, the fact that you guys are actually integrating the I hate to say wagering system, but the fact that somebody can take the competition to a different level by putting 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks on it and being within 5, 10 minutes, you're good to go. Like, that's a whole different ballgame. And that's why he was excited about it. He literally did not have anything good to say about all of the conversations he's had with multiple NFT crypto games. And we came at it with the same exact conversation what we're having with you, Zach, is we're not a crypto game. We're a game that happens to have crypto in it. And I think that that's the quintessential difference and why we're going to be very successful in this space.
100%. So many great questions, guys, coming in. We can't even get to all of them today, but we'll be doing this again for sure. So
can you pull up the one from Faye? I think it's a really good. That's a really good one.
Right here.
Yeah. Says most mobile PvP games have an issue of pay to win whales that just dominate leaderboards. You have some kind of balancing to where whales can just dump money and be overpowered. So yeah, there's gonna be skill based playing, right? So you're gonna be playing against people of your own skill. So whether or not you just started or you've been playing for a while, that's how we're gonna do it. And then we're also gonna be paying attention to this data as well to ensure that there's always fair gameplay. So this is something that Chattist or Lewis would be able to speak on a lot more. We talked about this last night in the Twitter space as well. But yeah, like as gamers, we know that this is annoying and we're going to do everything we can to make sure gameplay is always fair.
Good stuff. We were talking a little bit about Twitch. I was telling Scott about this. Have you guys see the TwitchCons coming back? Yeah. I would love. Are you guys planning on going?
We're too late to Amsterdam, but San Diego is one of those things that I think that we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. If anything, we'll show up. I don't know if we'll do a booth or sponsor it by any means, but that will be right after. I think, what is it, in October?
Yeah, October 7th.
Yeah, so that'll be right after we launch. So regardless, that might be one of those things. Here's how I look at conferences. Being that I had to do a lot of automotive conferences and lead gen conferences throughout my career, is setting up a booth doesn't necessarily make the most sense, but being able to have the parties afterwards and invite the people that actually attend the conferences and throw big blowout parties at the hotel across the street, those are the ones. That's where you can network and have some fun 100%. And get some drinks into people and just have a damn good time. So don't know how much we're going to sponsor, especially San Diego coming up, but that's not to say that we won't be have a presence there.
Yep.
Amsterdam's too early.
Yeah. That's right in the heart.
My favorite city in the whole world. So.
Gio's comment. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm dumbfounded. An AMA that's clear, concise, and easy to understand. I don't know what to do.
No, don't worry. There's about 5, not going to make it in use launching today. So you have your pick of the litter.
Do we have a number for how many in-game assets we're going to have at launch? That was a really good question. Right now, obviously, we only have the 10 cards. We have the 5 humans and the 5 aliens, but
yeah,
I know we have about 350 more coming like throughout the year. I think Lewis said something like at least maybe 10 to 20, maybe 30 max in-game assets for launch. I could be mistaken though.
I don't know. And we have a call with Cubics on Friday, and that's going to be a question that we ask them. There's going to be a lot. This will be our first big call that we have with them since beta launched.
Yeah,
to go over everything. They should have another build that they're releasing to beta, and then that's essentially what we're going to be talking to them about, is like what we're expecting, what can they deliver, do we need to have a few more people added to the team? We're already up to 30 people, and I'm cool with hiring more. Like,
we're just gonna completely take over Cubics. Bring all 200 employees will be working on WAGMI.
Fine, not a problem. Not a problem.
And they'll be happy to do it too, because they love WAGMI. I'm sure they're playing the game every day. They're like, oh, well, we gotta go make sure it works real quick. And just start battling each other.
Guys, real quick, just to recap the big news, if you weren't with us right at the top, WAGMI getting listed to Bitmart. Trading starts on May 9th. Ian, Scott, man, this was a lot of fun this morning. Enjoyed it, and we'll definitely do it again soon. Ian, any kind of parting words? And Scott, same with you. Just leave the people with.
Gosh, the only thing I can say is we have put our head down and we join our communities and ask around if you want to do your own research. We've got a pretty good Telegram and Discord community. Our Twitter is very active. If you have any questions or concerns whatsoever doing your own research, ask the questions in the community. We have literally delivered on every single thing that we've promised thus far, and just excited that this is we feel this is a long-term deal. We're cool. However long it takes. But the good news is we told you it was gonna be beta. We got you beta. We're in beta. We're gonna be launching this thing in July. We have the cinematic trailer in hand. It's in editing right now. So all of the things that the big, huge milestones, we're right on schedule for, and we're totally cool. Totally cool. If the bull run wants to wait until after this game launches, we're totally cool with it, right? It would be fun if it, as a personal investor, if we can get the bull run tomorrow.
Yeah.
But on a strategic level, if it just waits until August, end of July or August, like it did last year, we'll have the game out. And we honestly feel like we're going to be one of the very few crypto franchises that has a working game in which people actually play. It's fun. And we're going to get the amount of eyeballs that your Axies and your Sands got during the last bull. So other than that, we're just excited about what we've been doing. I invite you guys to go to the website, go to the characters on the, I guess it's middle of the homepage. Click on each character and read about the backstories. Lewis has literally written all of these backstories, and he's got alien, Egyptian, religious
huge
connotations
sci-fi nerd,
in them.
just like us.
I mean, it's so cool what he's doing with this, and I'm just proud to have just to be able to lead this project with the talent that the core has. It's really fun. It's really fun, and I can tell you that it doesn't happen very often that you're able to get together with partners that, number one, are ethical, number two, that work just as hard as you, and three, that have the talent. And the stars seem to be aligning with this project. It's really super fun.
Yeah, everyone in the group is so excited to do as much work as possible. And also, if things overlap, who cares? We're all working together to get this thing to be as big as possible because we see the future, and it's exciting. We're building a legacy. You never know you're building a legacy until it's already built, right? But we can tell we're building a legacy here. And thanks for pulling this up, Zach. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing a live AMA with Babes Cryptoland for Gochstein Media. So if you have any more questions or you want to hear from other members of the team, make sure you tune into that. But always, guys, there's always an open floor for any suggestions or questions. You can go to the Telegram. You can go to the Discord. You could even comment on my post or Zach's post or the official WAGMI post on Twitter and ask your questions. And we do our best to go through those and read them and respond to them. So, always an open floor of communication. And also they're at least minimal. Granted, we always do at least 2 or 3 spaces a week. At minimum, there's always a WAGMI Wednesday. So Armis is one of our influencers that always does WAGMI Wednesdays. It'll either be hosted on her Twitter page or another influencer's page. I'm actually convincing Zach to do his first Twitter space. So
yeah, I got to get my feet wet on the space.
Yeah, you need to get your feet wet on spaces. So maybe we'll do a WAGMI Wednesday on Zach's Twitter next week. But there's always places to go for information, and everyone is welcome. Any input is good input. And we appreciate the support, guys, and all the kind words and compliments in the chat. So thank you so much. I've been reading them throughout the entire stream.
Great stuff. So tonight, 7 o'clock, this will be on Gochstein Media or David's
tomorrow. Oh, tonight.
Oh, it's
Right,
tonight.
no.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
there.
tonight.
It's on that channel. Absolutely.
On this channel here. Okay. Okay. Right on this channel here. And then I guess we'll take one more question because I know Pratam's been asking this thing like crazy. Any update on Certic?
I mean, we're done. We're done. We've passed. It's just a matter of whenever they decide to put their score out.
Okay.
So as far as Certic, we passed. I know it says that there's a couple of I don't know what they put it as, like vital issues. They're not vital issues. It's completely fine. And if they still think that they're vital issues when it comes out, we'll have the response as to why we're doing what we're doing. But I can tell you that their vital issues was the fact that we still have control over the contract, and we need to have control over the contract in order to make some adjustments to, let's say that we've got play and earn aspects that we're going to add to people who grind, being able to have some of those capabilities within the contract. If it's fully renounced, it would be very difficult to do some of those things. So if they have issues with some of those, critical, I think that they call them, we'll just have a response to them. Listen, this is a business. We're not a meme token. We're not a meme coin where it's just like, okay, well, let's renounce it and then it's done. No, we have to be able to roll with the punches as we get them to be able to make sure that what's best for the actual project is in the best interest of the investor. So that's why we're not renouncing the contract, because we actually have to do things. Another perfect example is, if we need to have any kind of whitelists having to do with any specific address, for example, we just had to do it with Bitmart. We literally had to do it with Bitmart the other day, where it's like, hey, we need to whitelist X, Y, and Z into the contract. Well, if we renounced it, we wouldn't be able to do things like exchanges and things like that. So those are the little itty bitty things that I think Certic had a problem with. And I think those are their standardized problems that they're used to dealing with any kind of projects that are not GameFi. So long answer to your question, but we're not concerned about it. We passed with what we believe are flying colors. So we're just waiting for the score.
Awesome, man. Ian, Scott, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on First Sip in Crypto. Enjoyed it. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening this morning, too. Hopefully you got some value out of it and learned some more about WAGMI. So we'll definitely do it again. Guys, enjoy Cinco de Mayo. Have a couple drinks or something. Kick back, relax, right?
Arriba.
Arriba. Thanks,
All right,
brother.
guys.
Thanks, Zach.
Yep.
Cheers.
No problem.
Bye,
Yep.
everyone.
Bye.
See y'all.